Hey guys, welcome to another what is probably a pretty wild weekend, especially, in terms of the astrology that we have unfolding. Friday specifically, this is a very Uranian day. We have the sun and Uranus in a 1-degree orb conjunction. This is a super tight conjunction. We also have the moon transiting the sign of Aquarius, which is ruled by Uranus and forming a square to both the sun and Uranus in the sign of Taurus. There's probably going to be a strong theme this weekend, you guys, in terms of like comforts, assets, resources, supplies, finances, partnerships, material possessions, and levels of abundance and security and stuff like that. Home and family could also be some topics or themes, but in regards to perhaps some dynamic change that's going on, some things that are happening suddenly or unexpectedly, perhaps some emotional upsets, conflict, irritation that is leading to some type of growth, some type of breakthrough. There might be a strong desire to like break through, break free, or break away from something as the energy unfolds this weekend as well. And on Saturday, moving into Saturday, we have Venus coming into a trine with Saturn in the sky, with Mercury retrograde, who will station direct on Sunday, the following day, acting as an exact midpoint between these two planets. We are likely to be really thinking about, really considering, really reevaluating what it is that we want, what we value, what we prioritize, what we take seriously now in the context of these dynamic changes that are underway, internally within us, and therefore that are impacting what we want to build, what we want to form, what we want to grow into moving forward. Then, like I said on Sunday, we do have Mercury stationing direct in the sign of Taurus in a conjunction to the north node of the moon. The hand of God, divine alignments, divine timing. This is pretty much like all the business right now in terms of the decisions that we're making, the choices, the conversations, what we're talking about, really trying to get a grip on where we're at now in the context of where we've been, who we're becoming, where we're going. This is likely to be occupying a lot of our mental space. There could be some really like off the wall headlines, also things, of course, to do with economies, finance, assets, resources, supplies, food, stuff like this, finances, partnerships could be coming up as well. Lots to talk about in the energy for this weekend, you guys. Let's get into the charts of these 3 days coming up. Let's look at this in a little bit more detail, see what might be coming at us as this energy unfolds over the course of this weekend. Welcome back to my channel, you guys. Today is Friday, May 12th, 2023. My name is Aubrey. This is your astrological outlook of the weekend. We are going to look at the vibes coming through this weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, in terms of the astrology that's playing out and what that might mean for us on the ground over the course of the weekend, and in the context of whatever personal transformations that we have going on right now, because that is all pretty much the general vibe of 2023 and specifically of this month of May as well. This is a huge energy point this month in terms of some very critical activations that are going on, including the eclipse season that we are coming out of right now, but moving into this next couple of weeks as well. We are about to have some serious squares going on in the sky between some like serious Titan big player planets. Like this is like epic battle energy that's coming up over this next couple of weeks. We're gonna have Jupiter, Mars, and Pluto all at the critical 0 degree of their fixed signs. This is the level of power, okay, and energy and expansion and intensity that is just sort of going to be flooding the field over this next couple of weeks is unrivaled. We'll put it that way. So we're building into that. This is our last weekend, that we are really not directly like being immersed sort of in this energy that is going to be coming at us to close out this month, but we are in some very, very strong Uranus energy. Specifically Friday, and we have been all week. This has been the week that hosted our yearly Sun-Uranus conjunction, because also Uranus was at the tail end of his transit of the 19th degree of the sign of Taurus when the Sun and Uranus came together. Uranus has also moved ahead a degree in the energy on Friday, closing where, so like normally now the Sun would be 2 degrees away from Uranus, the conjunction would be 2 degrees separated, but because Uranus also moved ahead, we're having a second double dose of this like 1 degree orb Uranus Sun conjunction going on again today. And as I said, we have the moon transiting the sign of Aquarius, which is ruled by Uranus, which is, you know, electrifying, highlighting for sure the Sun-Uranus conjunction and the position in Aquarius that the moon will be, happens to be forming the, well, the third quarter square of the moon to the sun, which we have, which is, marks essentially like the last week before our new moon that's going to be coming up, the new moon in Taurus that will be coming up soon. But because Uranus is there as well, this is also putting the moon in square to Uranus. So we've got the sun and Uranus in a conjunction in the sign of Taurus. Okay, the Taurus themes are very significant right now because really, like, energetically, the Taurus energy is what is being highlighted pretty much from like every aspect and angle. The North Node is there, Mercury retrograde is there, this conjunction is happening there. So Taurus vibes are very significant right now. So I guess I should just say, you know, what is up for change? These shocks, or however, these electrifying awakenings, or the sudden upsets, or just the dynamic shifts and changes that are going on as a result of this Uranus energy, expect the unexpected energy, is likely to be focused in on these Taurus themes, which are Taurus, okay, Taurus is ruled by Venus. It rules everything like sensual, okay, like sensory pleasures, like material comfort, material possessions, like what we create and produce in and of our own potential that provides an abundance of like stability or comfort or, you know, food and stuff like that, like in our 3D external reality. This is an earth sign and it rules our assets, our resources, our supplies, our potential, our ability to be creative and to be resourceful and stuff like that. And it rules, of course, like finances and economies and partnerships, the ability for people to work together to accomplish goals and to grow things. It rules food, it rules like agriculture, also like projects and building and what we're growing, what we are like manifesting and forming. This is all the Taurus vibes. So with the strong Uranian influence and like it's also value, okay? It's what we value. It's the value of things. It has to do with worth, like true worth and true value. With Uranus there, this is all about a return to authentic value so that growth can happen in the proper organic pattern that is necessary to like unfold according to the design of universe. Like what it's about making universe's plan manifest through a return to like true authentic potential. That's what's going on throughout this 7-year transit of Uranus through the sign of Taurus. With the North Node there as well, this is like what needs to happen so that the current cosmic blueprint can unfold according to the proper plan, right? Can unfold according to the proper blueprint. With Uranus there, Uranus is the great rectifier. Uranus is the galactic fixer. There are adjustments that have needed to be made in the context of true and authentic value being restored in some type of way so that an organic process of growth can take place along the proper trajectory of this universal blueprint. This is a period of cosmic realignments, cosmic adjustments having to do with value, worth, potential, and the ability for that to grow and to be cultivated. The North Node, this is grows things. This is sort of where we're being compulsively pulled without much like conscious say in the matter. And then we're also talking about Mercury retrograde being in the sign of Taurus right now as well. Mercury goes retrograde, we're reevaluating things, we're rediscovering things, we're reassessing things. And what are we reassessing? What are we rediscovering? Having to do with these Taurus themes. Value, worth, potential, right? Or, you know, the projects that we're working on or the partnerships that we're in, are they a reflection of this true authentic value that we're discovering within? Or are they stealing power from us or keeping us out of that authentic alignment that can grow in according to the proper trajectory and the proper plan? And do we need to make different choices or decisions at this point in time in terms of who we're connecting with or who we're relating to or how we're even thinking and using our mind? Do we need to make shifts to our own mindset and our mental frames in order so that we can realign in the way that is going to lead to the unfolding of our potential and help us to activate our destiny? Because that's really what this is. You know, North Node in Taurus, the sign of growth, the sign of the builder. Uranus ruling the age of Aquarius in the sign of Taurus as well. This is awakening us to the truth of our potential, right? This is helping us to activate our destiny in correspondence with our transition into the age of Aquarius right now, because as I always say, this is the process of self-actualization. This is the process of rediscovering our true purpose in alignment with God, deity, universe, great spirits, divine image and vision of the purpose that we came to be in this life. No individual life or spirit is here with no purpose and no abilities and no potential. Every life is a part of a greater purpose, and as we're transitioning into the age of Aquarius, this is the time where it is our responsibility to discover that purpose and to unlock it within ourselves, so that we can go through this process of growth in alignment with the way that universe needs to expand right now as we head into this new golden age that the age of Aquarius is transitioning us into through these frequency-based shifts that are happening, that are causing all of this to happen. So, this Uranus Taurus energy that it's being brought up, the square to the moon, there could be some emotional upsets going on as well right now in this energy that are shaking us out of something or awakening us to something on some type of deep level that has us really reconsidering, what we're a part of, what we're committed to, and if it is truly in the best interest of our growth and of our soul purpose being able to be manifest going forward. So, all of that kind of being said, we could have a very strange, chaotic, unusual, or maybe exciting or shocking day in the energy on Friday with all of this super Uranus-oriented energy. Tensions could come to sort of a breaking point that lead to some type of sudden change, sudden release from something that has been holding us back from being able to discover this core truth or discover this core value or this potential and move in that direction. It could be more of kind of an irritating or conflict-ridden day in this energy. We are talking about a square. This is a 90-degree angle. Squares bring conflict, squares bring tensions, squares bring irritation and stuff, but it's for the purpose of stimulating us into some type of growth. The Mercury retrograde stationing influence, this could also be sort of, we want to, miscommunications and stuff, misinterpreting something, misunderstanding something, technology failing and stuff like that could also be bringing up issues. Double check things and just make sure you're understanding things properly, because there could be some lost in translation, scrambled airways or streams of thought type of things going on, because as Mercury, whenever a planet is stationing in the sky, it puts a special emphasis, that energy of that planet is amplified as well, and Mercury is slowing down, preparing to go direct on Sunday. So, this energy of the Mercury retrograde all weekend is kind of on blast as well. And Mercury and Uranus together, this has a lot to do with the communication as it's traveling back and forth through the airwaves. So just something to keep in mind as well. It's also interesting because, as I said, there's this huge emphasis on this Taurian energy, on these Taurus planets right now. And Venus is the ruler of the sign of Taurus. And whenever we're looking at planets in a sign and trying to analyze what's going on with them, it's important that we take into consideration what the ruler of that sign is doing. And as I've said, Venus is in a very interesting position this weekend. She is coming into a trine with Saturn. Actually, on Saturday, the moon will be in exact conjunction to Saturn, while Saturn and Venus are an exact trine as well. So, and Mercury will be sitting right at the midpoint of that trine, Mercury retrograde. So if Mercury retrograde is involved, we're really reconsidering and rethinking something, maybe coming to some different conclusions, gaining some different information, just assessing things however they're coming together in our mind. In the sign of Taurus, again, this value, worth, potential, resources, assets, partnerships, connections, work relationships, projects, all that type of stuff. And Saturn in the sign of Pisces. Letting go of what is not realistic for us at this point in time, dissolving boundaries that have been preventing us from aligning with the truth of our heart and our soul, right? What we really need to nourish us on those internalized levels. Venus in the sign of Cancer, while Saturn is in the sign of Pisces, Mercury is in the sign of Taurus. This facilitated release of that which has been blocking us from aligning with what we really need on these deeper levels. And as a result of that, really reconsidering what we want to commit ourselves to, the choices that we want to make, what we value, what we prioritize, what we love, and what we want and desire in relationships, in financial situations, having to do with assets, resources, materials, like all of that stuff moving forward. So very interesting the way that all of this is coming together. And of course, we'll talk more about this as we get through the report, because this energy is coming exact on Saturday, but it is dissolving emotional blocks to soul growth simultaneously to these radical, drastic dynamic changes that may be going on with us as well. So, perhaps the conflict or the irritation or the upset that is triggered by the moon in Aquarius squaring the sun in Uranus, this could be what really like startles us or awakens us to something that causes us to want to make some sudden changes. So, or this could be driving the action of others that are causing them to act maybe in like shocking or unusual or upsetting ways. Expect the unexpected. Of course, the normal Uranus rules apply for sure in the energy on Friday because this Uranus energy is so strong. But people are likely to not be acting normal, like with the Mercury retrograde energy so wrapped up in everything as well. Like people could sort of be like changing on a dime. Expect the unexpected, be flexible, be adaptable. Don't, try to force things that just don't seem to want to be happening. Just don't be surprised if people are kind of like acting crazy and all over the place. The need to break free from something could be like really strong and really overwhelming. People could be being very spontaneous, very impulsive, and it's not a bad day to be those things, honestly, but we just don't want to, we want to make sure that we're not being like super rash or just like reckless, because it can cause accidents as well. That's another thing. This is a more accident prone energy. So you're going to want to try to like stay grounded. This is a very, even though we're dealing with the Taurus, we've got Uranus, which is an earth sign, with Uranus there, Mercury retrograde there, the square from Aquarius moon. This is a very ungrounded energy. So we want to try to ground ourselves, and we don't want to be just like impulsively, rashly taking actions, okay? Because it could like trigger some type of like accident in this energy. Tech issues could also be really bad. Like I said, communication, like going through the airway type of issues could be really bad. If possible, in the energy on Friday, it also may be advisable to sort of avoid being part of like any line of fire that may be going on with people. Maybe like duck and cover sort of if people are acting super crazy. Don't let yourself become someone's target for something somehow. We have some interesting Sabian symbols that are coming through in the context of these aspects that are playing out. We have Jupiter at 30 degrees of Aries. Oh, that's another thing that I haven't mentioned so far yet. Jupiter is now at 29 degrees of the sign of Aries. This is a critical degree. Of course, I'm reading the Sabian symbols on this channel, so when I'm talking about degree placement, generally I'm rounding up a degree, because when we read Sabian symbols, we read the degree rounded up because we read the energy that's coming in, not the energy that's fading out. Energy moves in waves. So I'm going to be reading the Sabian symbol for 30 degrees of Aries, where Jupiter is right now, but Jupiter is actually at 29 degrees and something minutes of the sign of Aries, which is the last critical degree of that sign. With Jupiter, expansion, larger than life, supersizing everything, no boundaries, unrestrained, at the last degree of Aries, the sign of the warrior, the sign of the battlefield, ruled by Mars. This Mars energy, you guys, is super strong right now. People are probably going to be very, like a very expanded desire to act, to do something, to make something happen, to get ahead, very motivated, very courageous, could be very like full of ourselves as well. There may be some ego issues going on right now, but a desire to act in some big ways could really be propelling a lot of what is transpiring also in this energy over this next week, actually, as Jupiter closes out his transit of the sign of Aries and prepares to enter Taurus. Hit that 0 degree, hit that critical degree of Taurus, form the square to Pluto retrograde in Aquarius, while Mars prepares to move to 0 degrees of Leo. Bang, bang, bang. That's what we have coming up. And, That's what this weekend is ushering us into. However, we do have Jupiter 29 degrees. This is a huge energy, you guys. Huge, unrestrained energy, firepower, explosive force energy. So be advised of that as well. But anyways, back to these Sabian symbols. Jupiter, 30 degrees of the sign of Aries. That Sabian symbol is a duck pond and it's brood, while we also have the Earth today at 22 degrees of Scorpio. Hunters protected by heavy clothing are shooting wild ducks. We also have Venus, 6 degrees of Cancer, game birds feathering their nests, and we have the Sun at 22 degrees of Taurus, a white dove flying straight and fearlessly over troubled water. So that's a lot of bird symbolism. We're literally talking about like a duck pond and its brood, while we have hunters shooting wild ducks. This is also referring to the mental realm of things: birds, air, thought, communication, ideas. We want to stay out of the drama today. We want to stay out of the gossip today. We want to stay out of the line of fire. Like I said, we don't want to be someone's target. We want to sort of duck and cover. I've got to use that little saying again just to plug that duck word again. But something about ducks, or not becoming prey, or just like staying out of the target area, could really benefit us. This is just some guidance coming through on a symbolic level as a result of the degree placements that we have represented through the planets today. Again, this could also indicate major financial, economic, asset-based stuff that is going down. We are in that time. Whether or not we're really truly seeing it manifest, in the news and stuff like that, yeah, I don't know, but things are changing on financial and economic levels, and this is going to characterize a lot of what's to come over the rest of this year. So, very interesting. Okay, that's what I have to say for Friday. A white dove flying straight and fearlessly over troubled water. We need to rise up and over anything that may seek to just maybe like not be so nice to us or not be in our best interest in this energy right now. We don't want to allow ourselves, like I said, to become the victim to somebody else somehow. So we're doing that. Now let's talk about Saturday now. This is a very interesting day as well. The symbolism is crazy on Saturday also, but I really think by the time that we get into the energy on Saturday, after we've gone through all this Uranus energy on Friday, and maybe we've had some type of awakening or something has happened that's like shifted us or opened our eyes to something in some way, Saturday seems to be all about really figuring out, like really taking it seriously, really talking about it, really reconsidering it. What do I want? What's really important to me? What makes me feel good? What do I value? What do I prioritize? What can I truly rely on? What do I want to be committed to? What grounds me? What do I want to grow? What is realistic for me at this point in time? What am I actually serious about? What is worth it to me, and what is worthy of my love, of my affection, of my attention? Issues surrounding value, worth, potential, assets, resources, partnerships, material comforts and possessions, perhaps like real estate and housing type of stuff as well, home and family. How well are we able to provide, care for, nurture self and others? Probably themes that are coming up very strong in the energy on Saturday. Probably things that we are really discussing and sort of milling over and, trying to come to a resolution about in some way in our mind, okay? Venus will be at 7 degrees of Cancer in the energy on Saturday. Saturn is currently at 7 degrees of Pisces. These are two water signs. They are in exact alignment. And then we have Mercury at 6 degrees, which is, right there, only 1 degree off of the sign of Taurus. Actually, the exact degree placement, I will tell you, for Mercury on Saturday, at this midpoint degree, while we have this energy playing out, is 5 degrees and 55 minutes of the sign of Taurus. So we've got that 555. If you guys watched my full moon video, which was also the lunar eclipse, which happened on 5/5/23, which is also 555, this is a significant number right now. 5 is a number of dynamic change, with Mercury coming through at this exact to the minute degree, at this midpoint, in between this Saturn, Venus trine, like in this water sign energy. This is some type of a mental shift that is unblocking like our heart and our soul, like dissolving the boundaries that have kept us from feeling our own like inner truth, okay? And as a result, creating this framework for ourselves of this reality that, says that, we can't do this, or we don't deserve this, or we're not made for this, when really that's maybe what our heart and soul has been calling us towards our whole life. This is trying to break us out of any false matrix prison based on facades or expectations or false ideas or false understandings or false relationships to ourselves that we've been holding or maintaining, or, whatever, trying to tear those towers down, show us our core truth, reunite us with that core truth, and help us to begin building along those lines in that direction. Everything comes back to it. Self-actualization, discovering purpose, activating destiny, living truth in the context of the divine vision and image, the true purpose that universe created us for at this point in time as a part of this greater unfolding of the shift of ages that is underway right now. So this is the time where we really may be in this process of shifting our mental perspective on and really reconsidering, again, like what is best for us, who we truly are on those heart and soul based levels. Talking about it, thinking about it, questioning it, could also Venus right now ruling the position of Mercury in this trine to Saturn in the sign of Cancer. Matters of home, family, self-care, heart and soul. Trine Saturn, the foundations that we want to lay in relationships, in family dynamics, in financial components and dimensions of our lives going forward. What do we want to build next based on this awakening or this shift or this transformation back to our truth, okay, that is underway right now? Like, how do we want that to look for us going forward? Everything is wrapped up in this, and we're taking it seriously, bringing a reevaluation of things and their true worth to us. Now, just some, basic tendencies, some basic attributes of Venus in the trine to Saturn. This is, of course, taking matters of the heart quite seriously. Venus and Saturn in a facilitating trine together, this has a way of refining things, bringing refinement, class, sophistication, beauty, like precise craftsmanship and stuff like that. This is excellent energy, you guys, for any type of art, and specifically like musical composition happening in these water signs as well. You could get some really beautiful or just amazing productions that happen that are just exquisite, okay, when we have Saturn and Venus in the trine. Design, molding, forming, building, planning, anything like this, highly supported, almost like divinely inspired as well, with Saturn in the sign of Pisces. Limitless. Saturn in Pisces, this is breaking down boundaries as well. Unlimited potential, and we really can create like very divinely inspired and divinely oriented works that are tangibly manifest in the physical reality in a way that people can really truly appreciate and enjoy, that can be enduring long into the future when we have this going on. It's things that get better and more beautiful with age and over time, like fine wine is a very Venus trine Saturn oriented like thing, okay? Classic, traditional, conservative usually is a vibe that this energy brings. This just refined emotional expression as well, like a way to beautifully and eloquently and like with class and sophistication relate with others and like express, and like social graces and stuff like that, all definitely defined by the Saturn Venus trine influence. So that is the nature of this energy on its own. But of course, when we put it in the context of everything else that we have going on in our sort of like galactic recipe book for the weekend, and of course, bring in all the Uranus elements and all of that, I do feel like, again, bringing this reevaluation of things, their true worth to us, and what we really value and what we want to build going forward. And I think it's so funny as well. Like I said, the Sabian symbols on Saturday are like really quite specific. We have the sun at 23 degrees of Taurus. That Sabian symbol is a jewelry shop filled with valuable gems. So as if there wasn't already enough of an emphasis on like value and worth with Saturn and Venus in the trine, now we're like specifically talking about the position of the sun like directly referencing something that is holding things of like tremendous value and worth. We also have the Earth at 23 degrees of the sign of Scorpio on Saturday, a rabbit metamorphosized into a fairy. So based on this personal transformation, like it's, you know, it's really saying it all, based on the transformation that we're going through now, this metamorphosis, this inner alchemization, this evolution out of whatever we've been in the past and whatever paradigm has defined us into what we're becoming now in the context of the new reality that is embracing us at this moment. What value are we discovering? What worth are we discovering in that process? We also have Saturn, 7 degrees of the sign of Pisces. That Sabian symbol is illuminated by a shaft of light. A large cross lies on rocks surrounded by sea and mist. We have Venus, it's 7 degrees of the sign of Cancer. Fairies dancing under the moonlight. So we've got 2 fairy references going on. While we've got, and I haven't even mentioned, I forgot to even mention, and I should have been talking about this the whole time. On Saturn, Mercury, I'm telling you guys, Mercury retrograde has been messing with me so bad. Like, oh, it's been a challenge to get words out and to like make sure that the words are matching what's going on in my brain. And I keep forgetting stuff, but the moon on Saturday, like this is a big deal. The moon on Saturday is also going to be an exact conjunction to Saturn in the sign of Pisces, while we have the trine to Venus going on and Mercury at this 555 Taurus ruled by Venus midpoint. So the moon is there as well. So that's another reason why, you know, I'm saying this is like the whole vibe and this is really emphasized today. Like I said, I should have said that in the beginning, but for whatever reason, it happened to slip my mind. But the moon is there as well. The moon is involved in this grand trine. So we've got the heart and the soul, and we've got Saturn, right? Breaking down the barriers and the limitations to us aligning with our higher selves in the sign of Pisces. Mercury is the midpoint between these 3 planets that are in this water sign trine. What mental breakthrough do we need to have? You know, what are we rediscovering? What are we opening our eyes to in the context of this reunion with our heart and our soul that this energy is also indicating? And what are we going to build? What are we going to form? What choices and decisions? Who are we going to connect with? How are we going to do relationships? What are the family dynamics going to be like going forward now that we are coming from this evolved and greater place of internalized wholeness based on the inner truths that we're discovering and embracing in this energy? So anyways, the moon is there as well, and that's a big deal. So the moon is at that degree, the shaft of light being illuminated as well. But I find it very interesting that we also have fairies being referenced twice in the energy on Saturday. And we have Mercury at 6 degrees of the sign of Taurus. Like I said, well, the Sabian symbol 555 of Taurus technically, but we're reading the Sabian symbol 6 Taurus, a bridge being built across a high, narrow gorge. So I feel like this energy is telling us like we need to remember our own magic. We need to rediscover our own magic. What makes us feel alive inside? What reminds us that, you know, God, universe, great spirit, like is real in our world. You know, what makes the invisible tangible to us, like realigning with that and being re-inspired along the lines of, you know, what we need to feed our heart and soul with the faith that nothing is impossible and the universe supports our destiny, and everything that we can do to get more in alignment with that, to follow our truth, to follow our heart, to follow our soul, to embrace the changes of this period of time. We're going to be supported the more that we can do that, the more that we resist it, the more that we work against the process. This is where we're going to get the instant karma of Saturn in the sign of Pisces. The more that we avoid these truths, the more that we hide from our higher selves and like our deeper spiritual knowings and stuff, like this is when we're going to hit the things, okay, that cause us to, you know, struggle and have a need to really go back and figure out, you know, where we went wrong and where we need to do things different to avoid this resistance going forward. We avoid the resistance by getting in alignment with universe, by doing things right, by following the freaking rules. Like that's what we're doing right now. Like we need to follow the rules, and the rules are authenticity, truth, no more facades, and rediscovering our purpose. And if you're alive, if you're living on this planet right now, you have a purpose. You wouldn't be here. You wouldn't be a part of this overall unfolding plan if you had no purpose. And, you know, that's not to say that you are anywhere, you know, aware of it or in alignment with it, but that's what this period of time is about. It's about figuring out what our passions are, what we're inherently drawn to, what we're inherently good at. Like if you could go back to your childhood and, you know, What were your original dreams? What were you originally drawn to? What were you originally interested in? Like, these are the things that we need to cultivate. Like, these are the things that are steering us towards what our true purpose is. And universe wants us to, in the best ways that we can, as the old matrix collapses and the new world is rebuilt, this new continent rising from the ocean, the degree, the Sabian symbol where the sun and Uranus came into conjunction. We're rebuilding. We're getting a second opportunity to get back to our truth, to get back to our origins, and to start to live that purpose that was initially planted within us. And, you know, we may have had to forsake for a million 3D tangible matrix reasons. The time is now to get back on that track, and the more that we do that, the more we'll be supported, the more things will fall into place, the less resistance that we will face moving throughout this period of time, which is likely, again, you know, probably not going to be the smoothest ride. We are in the end of an era. We are in the origins of a new one. Death and rebirth, endings and beginnings, extreme transition, cascading endings and beginnings happening simultaneously, one after the other. Could be a bumpy ride that we have coming up here, especially with all of this strongly indicated financial system type collapse stuff that we might see going on, currency revaluation stuff that we might see going on, economic, supply chain, resource based, need to get back to basics type of stuff that we need going on. But that's another reason why it's time for us to sort of like mine our own potential and figure out what energy or what fuel or what resources we have to produce some of the things that perhaps stabilize our lives in these more uncertain times that we have coming up. So, you know, there's a little tangent of mine on the age of Aquarius. And again, what this is all about, a bridge being built across a high, narrow gorge. We're transitioning from one phase to another, from one world to another, from one reality and one way of being and one paradigm and one like identity that we've existed within to this new one, which is really our original one, but which is also the one that is supporting us universally right now as we go through this process. Also remember, in the energy on Saturday, Jupiter is still at that 29 critical degree of the sign of Aries. Big Mars energy in the midst of all of this, desire to take action and these new beginnings. This is blessed new beginnings though, you guys. Aries, this is the spark, right? This is the initiation point. This is where we take off, okay? The new beginnings, what we're starting, the new ventures that are coming into fruition now, the new opportunities that are coming into fruition now, that are happening as a result of what is falling away and the towers that are crumbling and the matrix that is burning down around us. What is growing from that? You know, what is growing from the smoke of what's been burning down around it? These are blessed new beginnings, okay? These are successful new beginnings that can grow into something stable and abundant. Jupiter, 29 degrees of Aries. Jupiter brings blessings. Jupiter brings abundance. Jupiter brings expansion. Aries is the new beginnings. Jupiter about to move into the sign of Taurus. This stabilizes, this grounds these new beginnings into reality and helps us to build them, to grow them in a way that is abundant and successful. So the seeds that we are planting now, the new beginnings that we are starting now, these are blessed with successful outcomes, okay? But we just got to keep our future focus, our forward focus in the midst of that which is leaving our current reality right now as well. So that's what I'm going to say about the energy for Saturday. Let's move on and talk about Sunday now. This is Mercury direct day. Mercury stations direct at that 6 degrees of the sign of Taurus. That Sabian symbol, again, a bridge being built across a high, narrow gorge. Construction is underway. Things are moving us forward, bridging us from the past paradigm into this new reality that we are actively in the midst of creating, laying the foundations for at this period of time now. Probably a mental emphasis. Again, when a planet stations in the sky, there is a increased energy load that's coming from that planet. Like, it amplifies the energy of that planet. So there is a strong mercurial theme going on today. We could be seeing news, headlines, you know, information, internet, Twitter, blah, 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 specifically having to do with these Taurus related themes, very heavy in the energy. Again, I'm not going to list them all off because I've done that so many times so far in this report, but you know, the financial, economic, partnership, resource, all that base themes likely to be what people are talking about and in the headlines on Sunday. Moving us into Monday, you guys, where we are inching closer towards this epic showdown type of energy that is coming up. Also, we need to realize Mercury, as I've mentioned, is stationing direct only 2 degrees out from the North Node in Taurus. This is the Mercury North Node conjunction. Mercury, or North Node, you guys, is also at the Chiron point right now, the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. Chiron, wounding, healing, wisdom, growth, alchemy, transmutation, overcoming states of victimhood, you know, finding and discovering true value and true wealth. Yet again, these same exact themes with the North Node there. This is another indication to me that there could be some financial stuff that is brewing, okay? And with Mercury there as well, this is what we're talking about, this is what we're thinking about. So again, being represented in the same pattern, again, being amplified by the North Nodes present at this one specific degree, the Chiron point as well, with Mercury in the conjunction for his station going direct. So whatever we've reassessed, you guys, whatever this Mercury retrograde has opened our eyes to or has shifted our perspective on, or, you know, the new mental state that we've gained over this period of time, the new vision, the new ideas, like the new just general perspective, whatever we've reassessed is leading us towards this path of true growth in alignment with the cosmic blueprint that that universe is pulling us towards right now. The presence of the North Node in the 2-degree orb conjunction to Mercury as he stations direct. So there is a divinely aligned, fated, hand of God, divine timing element to whatever choices, decisions, whatever we've come to, wherever we've have arrived at as a result of this Mercury station. And moving forward throughout this next couple weeks as Mercury exits his shadow, which is going to be transpiring alongside of our epic showdown energy this next couple weeks, and X leaves the sign of Taurus and begins to transit the sign of Gemini, his home sign, which is going to be a lot of mental energy coming up here in this next couple months. But we're not there yet. Let's stay where we're at. Another thing though, Venus is at 8 degrees of the sign of Cancer when Mercury stations direct on Sunday. 8 degrees of Cancer, and Mercury, or Venus, is ruling the position of Mercury, right? Because Venus rules Taurus. That Sabian symbol is a group of rabbits in human clothes, walk as if on parade. Now that we have Mercury going direct, now that we're making these choices, now that we're making these decisions that are going to end up moving us forward somehow in alignment with this new identity or this new reality that we are aligning or realigning with, there may be somewhat of a need to sort of like fake it till we make it. We may not, or like act as if, you know what I mean? We may not truly like feel that we are who we are in the process of becoming yet, but I feel like with Venus ruling the position of Mercury retrograde, ruling all of these Taurus planets at this degree, the group of rabbits in human clothes walk as if on parade. It's like, even if we don't really feel it yet, it's time to start playing our new role in our new reality in alignment with the authentic truth and potential that we know we truly have inside and that we are going to become as we go through this process of stepping into it. So it's almost like, even if we're not truly comfortable in it yet, even if we maybe don't even really truly believe it yet ourselves, like, it's time to start acting as if. It's time to start becoming, creating this new, you know, this new identity for ourselves and becoming who we know we truly are and can be once we go through this transformative process, okay? Now, another thing that I do want to say, especially in the context of us moving into this really tense, fixed, powerful T-square that is coming up next week, we do have a couple rather precarious Sabian symbols that are coming through in the energy on Sunday. Number one, we have the position of Mars, at 27 degrees of Cancer, a violent storm in a canyon filled with expensive homes. We also have the Sun on Sunday at 24 degrees of Taurus, an Indian warrior riding fiercely, human scalps hanging from his belt. And we do also have Jupiter at this 29 Aries, again, this huge energy, very strong Mars warrior type of energy, expanded, going on as well. So with this symbolism coming through today and the pending aspects we are moving towards, you know, we could be headed towards some more like stormy territory that again could be causing some type of perceived, maybe not so positive financial or economic type effect. But again, everything that happens is ultimately about restoring true value and true worth to things in the end somehow. Also, you know, the 24 degrees of Taurus, the position of the sun, about the Indian warriors. Like, this is a very ruthless degree, okay? This is a pretty violent, ruthless degree. So, you know, people could, and with Jupiter at this degree, this is an unrestrained, perhaps like aggression or tension or something like that. So, you know, just wanted to put that out there. Be advised, destruction, vengeance, violence, ruthlessness could be a manifestation under this energy, especially this upcoming energy over this next 2 weeks while Mercury is in the process of leaving his shadow. However, I will also say, I'm not going to leave it there. I'm not going to leave it on those, you know, not the greatest notes, okay? We have the Earth on Sunday at 24 degrees of the sign of Scorpio. Crowds coming down the mountain to listen to one inspired man. We need to find and follow our inspiration. We've also got, as I said, the North Node at the Chiron point, the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. Following our inspiration, okay, this is what leads us out of the battle and towards the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. So between the symbolism coming through on Friday and the symbolism coming through on Sunday, it's really in our best interest this weekend, if we do find ourselves navigating maybe some more conflict-ridden scenarios, to try to find the high ground, to try to focus on our spiritual connection, okay, on our connection to our higher selves, on our goals, on where we're going next, on where we're growing, and trying to, like, you know, cultivate and channel the divine inspiration that is guiding our path moving forward. Again, because it truly is leading us towards the North Node at the Chiron point, discovering the true, you know, gold of our soul, the value and the worth that comes from living in alignment with the truth of our purpose, which we're also finding and discovering in this energy. And again, you know, economic stuff, assets, money, lands, supply chains, financial stuff, partnership-based uncertainty, changes. This is likely to be the primary themes that we have coming at us throughout the course of this weekend. So that's what I have to say today, you guys. That's what I'm going to say for the weekend in terms of the energy as it's coming through. I'm going to grab us a synchronicity card now. Let's ask God, Spirit, Universe, what's a piece of advice and guidance that will benefit us significantly as we are going through the energy this weekend? The card says, rest, relax, and believe. So there it is, you guys. He feedeth among the lilies until the day breaks and the shadows flee away. Song of Solomon 2:16-17. This reminds me of the white dove flying straight and fearlessly over the troubled waters. Take refuge among the lilies of God in heaven and dwell upon the concepts of joy, harmony, peace, beauty, and divine law and order. Venus and Saturn. All your plans, journeys, and undertakings will prosper, right? Jupiter in the last degree of Aries, about to move into Taurus. Continue in this abiding trust and faith in God until the day breaks and the shadows flee away. So that's what it is, you guys. That is the advice to help us through whatever is coming at us this weekend. Thank you for being here with me. If you guys liked this video, please give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel. Share it with your friends if you think they would like this type of content, be interested in what we have going on here as well. Leave me comments, you guys. I'm so grateful for all of you. Thank you so much for being here. I love you guys so much. Let me know if you got stuff going on that has anything to do with what I'm talking about here. I really appreciate it, and I really appreciate you. I have a Facebook page, a Facebook group, Instagram, some other social media stuff in my description box below if you're interested in any of that. Come back with me next week, you guys. Next week is a powerhouse week. Like I said, you know, starting off on the 15th with a bang. We've got exact Mars-Neptune trine going on. We have Jupiter moving into Taurus. This is a huge shift and we'll set up the square to Pluto. We also have a new moon in Taurus that is coming up and more, you guys. Mars will also enter Leo and hit that 0 degrees. So we got all this coming at us. We got a lot to talk about next week. I will be here. You should be here too. You don't want to miss it. I will see you then, you guys. Have a beautiful weekend, and until next time, bye.